Hey guys, Max Rich here, and today I want to show you a couple of quick little ways that you can massively improve your playing. Most players, when they look to improve one aspect of their playing, usually they gravitate towards note choice. You know, if you're trying to play cooler phrases, play cooler licks, everyone wants to play more outside, play more blue notes, this type of thing, right? The one thing that almost every intermediate player and even early advanced players begin to overlook, or something that they shouldn't overlook, is rhythm and rhythmic variety. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. The number one way you can improve your playing is by improving your rhythm, because the vast majority of cool licks that you hear, whether it's something from Stevie Wonder or something in a Michael Jackson tune or something in a Metallica song or something in whatever song you hear, the vast majority of stuff is pentatonic, maybe blues scales, simplistic note choices. But the cool thing that makes those licks unique is the rhythm itself. And so that's what I want to talk about today, how to inject unique rhythmic ideas into your licks using fewer pitches, right? So instead of playing huge long scales, you know, right? Instead of doing that kind of stuff, using fewer note choices and playing rhythmically. And by doing that, you begin to sort of hear phrases and hear melodies in a rhythmic fashion rather than in a pitch-based fashion. And that will massively help endear you to audiences, because let's face it, any non-guitar player doesn't care if you're playing the flat 13 or, you know, playing the flat 9 of a chord, right? What they want to hear is something that they can gravitate towards, and rhythm is something that everyone can gravitate towards. So today I'm going to show you a couple examples and a couple exercises for things that you can do that can help sort of widen your rhythmic landscape. But before I do, I would kindly ask that you guys like, share, and subscribe if you find these videos helpful. Helps me create content for you and helps keep this sort of lesson type thing flowing. Please take a look at www.maxrichmusic.com, and if you feel like it, hit the donate button. It helps me out, and in turn helps you out by keeping these videos free. So, in any case, on to rhythm exercise number 1. Okay, so exercise number 1, what we're doing, we're basically playing 4 notes. D, E, G, A. 4 notes, but we're using a 3-note rhythmic pattern. And what we're going to do is we're going to play 1 8th note followed by 2 16th notes. And that is going to be replicated for every beat, right? So if you're thinking about what this sounds like, and this is your tempo, the rhythm would be bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum, right? Or slower, dun da da dun da da dun da da dun da da dun. That rhythm, it's not very complicated rhythm. It's a very simplistic rhythm. But the thing that makes this rhythmically unique is that instead of playing 3 pitches over a 3-note rhythmic pattern, you're playing 4 pitches over a 3-note rhythmic pattern. So it ends up with this cyclical effect, and that sounds like this. Okay, now you're saying, well, that doesn't sound that crazy. No, but I'm using like the most simplistic notes possible, right? You could take this and you can use this over any series of notes. You can use it over chromatic scale. And you don't have to play each figure repetitively over the same 4 notes. You can change it, right? Right? You could do whatever you want with it, right? These pitches are interchangeable with any pitches that you want, right? But the idea is to sort of grasp onto this small little rhythmic thing. See if you can do it, right? Because it's actually not that easy. If you notice, each note gets an accent at a different point in the bar. Right? Doing that and then interchanging that for whatever other rhythm, or whatever other pitches. right? You can begin to see the potential, especially if you start combining a whole series of pitches. Beat 1 has these 4, beat 2 has these 4, beat 3 has these 4. What I want you to do is I want you to take this exercise, play it the easy way with D, E, G, A, and then begin to slowly expand into other note choices. And then from there, instead of playing the 2 measures like is written in the tab with one set of 4 notes, begin to play measure 1 as one set of 4 notes and then a whole different set of 4 notes for measure 2. And then as you get good at that, then begin to change each beat. So beat 1 gets these 4, beat 2 gets these 4, beat 3 gets these 4, beat 4 gets a different 4. So by the end of measure 1, you've played 16 different notes, potentially. And then you can extrapolate from there and make this as complicated as you want. Okay, so exercise number 2, or rhythm idea number 2, is literally the exact same 4 notes, because we're going to use those sort of as a template, right? Like I said, you can interchange these for whichever ones you want. The next exercise uses the same 3 rhythm notes, right? So 2 16ths and an eighth, but in a different order. So we're starting on a 16th, then we're doing an eighth, then a 16th, and that makes up 1 beat. And then that beat replicates for all 2 measures, right? So if this is my tempo, right, it'd be like ba-ba, ba-ba-ba, 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 ba-ba. Right? That's the rhythm that we're going to do. So this is what it sounds like using the exact same set of 4 notes. Okay, this one's significantly harder to play, right? If I did it slow, right? Basically what you're doing is you're playing the first 2, right? 16th and an eighth, and then a 16th to finish it, followed by another 16th and an eighth. And the difficult part about this is that if you're looking at the tab, each beat, like the downbeat, so beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, basically fall in between 2 other notes. So it's very difficult to accent the downbeat while having the 16th note before it and the 8th note after it not being accented, right? So that makes this significantly more difficult. So once again, this is what it sounds like. And there you have that. Once again, replace that with 4 different notes and you'll begin to see things start changing. Okay, number 3 is reminiscent of the beginning of Black Magic Woman by Santana. It's sort of like this, almost like an ostinato pattern, where instead of using the 4 notes, D, E, G, A, now we're only using 3 notes, E, G, A, but we're doing it in a 4-note rhythm pattern. So once again, the pitches do not line up with the subdivided rhythms. We're using 4 16th notes per beat, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, but we're only using 3 pitches over those, right? So if I map that out, 1 E and a, 2, and you notice that because there's 4 pitches, each beat starts on a different note. Now the trick to this is to not accent each beat, but to accent one specific note. So we're going to take the E and we're going to accent that. And that happens every 3 pitches, or every 3 16th notes, which means that the accent is going to be displaced and not line up with the beat except for a couple beats here or there, right? It gets significantly more challenging when you try that out. So this is what it sounds like. Okay, so as you can see, it's actually pretty difficult. Basically, once again, we're basically playing 4 16th notes. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, cycles and cycles and cycles like that, right? You end up, by the time you get back to the 1, so the starting note is E again, it's basically 3 beats, 3 bars, and then on the first note of bar 4, you're back on the starting note again, right? So it actually is pretty challenging. You can alter this by deciding, instead of accenting the E, you can accent the G, you can accent the A, and once again, obviously you can cycle through any series of 3 pitches. But doing this is actually displacing the accent, right? And it fools the listener into thinking the beat is in a place that it's actually not. And that's what makes something like this so cool, right? And you'll see this exemplified when we take out the other notes and just leave the accented note. And that is the next exercise. Okay, so this next one is literally the same exact rhythm, except instead of the G and the A, we're just playing rests. So the only note that we're actually playing is the E, but it's in the exact same spot as all the ones in the previous exercise, right? So it's 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E, right? So it's that type of a thing. So if you look at the tabs, it's going to be exactly in the same spot. So if I were doing that type of a thing, right? If I took out the G and the A, that's what we would end up with. And it sounds like this with a click. Sorry about that, metronome a little out of control. But that's what it sounds like. Not that crazy, but when you add in a drum beat and you add in a bass player and you add in a keyboard player, doing a rhythm like that sounds out of time makes it really, really cool. And in fact, you can use this concept with chords. You can do pretty much whatever you want. So for example, you can do that. You can do all kinds of things with this rhythmic idea, right? And in fact, so to exemplify it a little farther, you can actually just use the pentatonic scale or like the blues scale, and you can get like an equally cool effect. Right? So it has this out of time feeling. And that makes it really, really cool, right? And you can play with the listener's ear by making them think the beat is somewhere where it actually isn't. And the longer and longer you make this idea, so instead of being just 3 bars, you can make it 6 bars, 9 bars. 12 bars would actually line you back up pretty nicely in a blues, for example. You can build a huge amount of tension using this, right? And especially at faster tempos, this type of thing gets really, really cool. And once again, I would like you to try to take these ideas and expand on them, right? Like I'm giving you the base level. I want you to try to build on it. So like, oh, I can do this. This isn't so bad. That's not the end of the exercise. You have to, like, your job as a guitar player is to try to figure out how to make an exercise or a piece of music or a lick or something more challenging and more challenging and more challenging. And that's how you get better and better and better. You don't just like master a lick and then throw it away. You master a lick and then like, okay, can I play it backwards? Can I do this to it? Can I do that? What if I speed it up? What if I change the rhythm? So you want to constantly be searching for a way to improve your playing, and trying to focus on note choice will necessarily lead you into like a boring tunnel of constant 16th notes or constant 8th notes and really boring rhythms, whereas focusing on rhythm, you can always inject new notes, right? But you have to have that rhythmic, that sense of rhythm internally, right? It's not something that you can be counting while you're playing live or playing on a recording or something like that. That has to be very intuitive, and in order to get that, you've got to practice using rhythms that and being boxed into that rhythm using a very small series of notes, right? So 2, 3, 4 notes maximum, right? Box yourself in, keep yourself sort of supplanted in this little framework of 2, 3, or 4 notes, and make more and more complicated rhythms, and you'll find yourself being more creative and more of an intuitive player.